Welcome to the second lab for the Technical Capstone. Technically, this is Module 3. So Lab 2, Module 3. In this lab, we're going to be diving into the range, doing some initial open source intelligence work. We call that OSINT. And to some extent, this is going to be a review of Cyber 1 because we're going to be using some of the same tools. But it's going to require you to do a little bit more independent research. And that's going to be one of the main differences between the Technical Capstone class and Cyber 1. In the Technical Capstone class, you're going to be expected to do just a little bit more digging on your own. The text and these little lecture descriptions here and the videos that are assigned in class probably give you about 80% of what you need to complete all these labs on your own. But you have to do that just a little bit more on your own to make it all the way through these labs. And so, for this particular lab, the first couple exercises, you actually don't need to log into the cyber range. You can do these on, just any computer. And even the last one, we're going to be using Nmap, which you'll remember from Cyber 1. You could conceivably download that locally, either on a Windows machine or a Mac machine or a Linux machine if you're using a Linux computer, and just run it locally. But, it's probably easier just to dive into the range and use it there. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be our lab format for these specific labs in this class. And in this lab, we are going to be doing a few things. So the first thing I want you to pay attention to is that the only machine you need to open in your cyber range environment is going to be your Kali Linux machine. We actually don't need any of the other machines right now. You're going to have a username and login is going to be shown on your individual lab instructions. And obviously you're going to need a web browser, and we talked about it in the introduction. You're probably going to want to use Firefox. It tends to work the easiest. And so the first module here is going to be passive reconnaissance, right? This does not require range access, though you're welcome to go ahead and use the range if you want to. There's no reason not to. But you can just open a terminal window either on Mac or Windows or Linux. It doesn't matter. And this one's pretty easy. This is going to be the whois command. It's really easy. Whois nmap.org. And then hit return. And, you're going to see a lot of information come up, right? And so, obviously running the command is pretty easy, but you might not know what the relevance of some of this information is. And so there's a little bit of guidance in the text, and you can go out online and learn a little bit more. And, you can, feel free to talk to me if you're still confused after trying those steps. But you should be able to come up with, get a rough sense of what this information is from the text and your own independent research, enough to be able to answer these questions. And so, again, I'm always here to help out. Like, if you're really struggling, me, you've worked with me in Cyber 1, that I drop whatever I'm doing to be able to help students out. But in the Technical Capstone, I just want you to take that extra step and do a little bit of independent research and try to figure things out on your own. And so after running the whois command, we're going to be using some Google Docs, which you can read about in the text, and you can also read about online. This one's going to be a really simple one, and I think you're going to be really intrigued by some of the stuff that pops out that's security relevant just from playing around in Google. Then after the Google Docs, I want you to go ahead and register for a free Shodan account. So this is Shodan. Shodan's awesome. It is essentially a search engine, as they say right on the main screen there, for security and for the Internet of Things. Essentially, Shodan goes out and looks at all sorts of internet connected devices and makes them searchable, right? I mean, I think as you poke around in Shodan, you'll be just shocked at what you can find out that's just publicly available, what devices connect to the internet and just broadcast whatever they're doing all around the place. And so this particular module is just introduction to Shodan, kind of teaches you how to play around with it, and again, a great tool for reconnaissance. You might want to search yourself too, poke around and see if your webcams are popping up there. The final module for this lecture is running Nmap a little bit more aggressively. And this is it's not a difficult lab. It's going to be a repeat of the same stuff you've done in Cyber 1. There are just some analytical questions there at the end, particularly around understanding what if Nmap cannot tell if a host is alive or not, what does that mean? And so again, the answer isn't going to be in your text. The answer isn't going to be in any of the lectures. You're going to have to do just a little bit of independent research to figure that one out. But a quick Google search is going to give you everything you need to answer that. That is the Module 3 lab. Again, nothing complicated, nothing that's beyond your reach, but a few things that are you're gonna have to go out and do a little bit of independent research on your own, which I really think, if anything, when you finish this class, I want you to have an appreciation for your own ability to just go out on the internet, search around, play around, and figure some things out. And so, again, to reiterate, it's me, right? I mean, when you text me or call me and you need help, like, I'm happy to walk you through this. But if you reach out for assistance, if you're really stumped on something in one of these labs, I am going to ask you, what steps you took to solve it independently. And, I'm going to want to hear, the research steps you did and why you're still having challenges after that. But of course, again, it's me. I'm going to help you out. But I do want you to take that step, partially because I really want you to build the confidence in knowing that, you can go out and independently research some of this stuff and get answers really easy, because that's going to really supercharge your career down the road when you realize that you have that Google superpower. But anyway, have fun with the second lab, the Module 3 lab. And of course, please, do your own research, but do reach out to me if you have any issues. Have fun.
This tutorial was prepared by the Center for Cybersecurity and Privacy Protection at Cleveland Marshall College of Law, Cleveland State University.